Welcome to the power of...
The streets are all alike. The buildings are all alike. The businesses all look alike. The reason for this being that most businessmen in this country are playing a game called Follow the Follower.
On a personal level, I've owned several Porsches, and Porsche, just that word, is a dream. And then it says speed and precision in Germany. I can't get away from those three things. Every time, if I look at old Porsches, I look at the new stuff, I look at the prototype, the electric, the hybrids, it always comes back to precision, German, and speed. And this is a building that projects every single one of those elements. So I'm very, very, very impressed by the building. And now we got to get the tour.
That's right.
Hey. Welcome to the next episode of Power of Paint, episode 5. We're Porsche on this episode. I'm going to give you the tour, maybe throw a few nuggets in, but let me just point out a few things. Porsche's real estate is incredible, not because they're Porsche, but because they are all in. Thus the theme of this episode, all in. The flip, I will talk about that at the end. This time I'm going to save the residential flip insight for the later. Right now I want to talk about this dealership. It's amazing. Ace gives me this amazing tour. Todd spends the money. It's his dealership. And how long have you been open, actually?
Well, we've just been open 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And we were just 5 minutes north from here in a very small facility, about 10 years old. But we outgrew that facility, and our owner, Todd Blue, was behind a lot of this design. And now it is the largest Porsche store in the country. 60,000 square feet total.
Wow.
So we're definitely able to...
Todd's not shy.
No.
He's not shy.
And if you look at, if you meet him and you see his other locations, he really has a level that he tries to be above and exceed. So we just added Rolls-Royce with our Lamborghini collection next door. Yeah. And soon Bentley will be also joining in here.
Right.
We do also own the Desert European Motor Cars in California. Okay. And another Porsche store there, and one more in St. Louis. Okay. So, this one, this is obviously the largest.
This place is amazing. I was in here last week, and just that I've had Porsches, and I'm having fever. I got Porsche fever right now. So I was enjoying the property, and I realized I got to come back and do a proper review of the facility. So if you're tuning into the show thinking we're going to go over every model, horsepower, and all that, no, we're here to brag about the property, brag about how basically Todd opened the checkbook. I don't see where he could have cut a corner. Was there any possibility? He didn't save on flooring. He didn't save on lighting. He didn't save on anything. This place is spectacular. Amazing tour. Todd spends the money. It's his dealership, and he does it exactly right. How many cars is in the main showroom, this downstairs showroom?
Right now, it's actually about 14.
This showroom is a dream, but there's two. Let's go take a look at it. All right, man. But it's not just Porsche real estate when you go on the property to buy a car. They also have Porsche, the condominium, 60-story tower in Miami. I'll throw some footage up. The elevator goes up. Gil, my guy, he killed it with this property. I can only expect more Porsche real estate opportunities as they go forward. Where we're at now is the second floor showroom.
Yes.
The view is amazing everywhere I turn. So go ahead.
So this is where we have the Porsche Classic display, and right now we actually have a pretty good amount of classic cars.
You certainly do.
And then we have the 918 over here. At night it's really cool the way they designed this building, because you can see the cars from the highway.
That takes effort on purpose to happen.
Yes.
And that's brilliant.
God wanted that set up, so that's how we had it.
So this is our top dog, actually. I am going to talk a little bit about cars because I want one. I just want this. And so when you're watching this and you're listening to this, don't think, oh, this is great because they have a product that is known around the world as fast race car and all that. You need to think about it from your standpoint of what you own, what you want to develop, and how do you want to maximize that money. I got a warehouse that is killing it as if they were the iPhone company. And it hasn't been recently. They've been doing it for 20 years. I'll tell you who they are. They're going to be the next episode. I'm going to talk about Star Wars. I'm going to talk about Catuinati killing it on Highway 225. I think they're out of Brazil
Brussels or somewhere. They're not American based, but the way they are killing it is just like this Porsche dealership. What? A warehouse and a Porsche dealership? Think, how do you get the most money out of your property through the power of design? Straight up while we're talking here.
Yeah, this would be one to talk about.
Yeah, this is a Brad car. If there was ever a Brad car, it's this one. So
power design, straight up while we're talking here. And so, yeah, let's get into this. This dealership is incredible. You would expect to have showroom. You would expect to have a refrigerator, a little kitchenette, a lot of things you're expecting. So I'm not going to go into what every dealership has. I want to jump to a conversation I had with Ace. They have this area where they lay out the paint and the leather, and they lay out the the accents and the stitching and all the details of making your own car. And we have an interesting conversation, and here it is.
So this is a fitting lounge, and being with Porsche, there are so many different ways to customize the vehicle.
Yeah,
including what color seat belts you like, the instrument dials, the clock, the stitching.
Mm-hmm.
So this room will you'll be able to see the different samples, colors, and options, and we can configure a client's car right in here.
Crucial. You can't skip this step at all, can you? No. So you have square footage, and this is getting back into the architectural world, dedicated to this one step. It's just one step, but look how much square footage, and the finishes and everything is Porsche. It is. But the fact that they decided to use square footage this way, it's very nicely lit in here. You have the body samples, paint samples, trim pieces, everything you would expect, but they did it right. It's a lot better than the old office.
Oh, of course.
The old shop.
And a lot of Porsche stores, they don't even offer a room like this. There's very few stores in the nation that have this.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal with Porsche because of the ways you can actually customize the car. And a lot of our clients do order the cars straight from Germany.
Sure.
Exactly the way they want. And being able to do this versus just looking online and looking at pictures, which is much harder to do. And,
you put the stitching next to the body color.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is awesome, and the fact that other dealers don't have this. Let's play a game, just you and me. I'd love to ask Todd this, maybe I will later. If you had to give up one of the cars on the showroom, so you would say you go from 6 cars on your showroom down to 5 so that you could put one of these in, would that be something you would do?
Absolutely.
And you've been in the business how long?
4 years with Porsche.
Okay.
6 years total.
So you know how it goes from a guy who's buying a second Porsche versus a brand new buyer, how important this step is.
Extremely. Yes.
And so it's worth giving up an enclosed air-conditioned slide, that could have a car, so that you could go through this process with the client.
Absolutely.
This is valuable square footage, baby, right here.
Yeah.
Also, I think this is valuable square footage too. Can you believe it? He feels as that experience with the client coming onto the property is so important that he'd give up location of a car. If you couldn't hear the audio, I'll go ahead and tell you. He said, like if I only had 6 car spots inside my showroom, he would give up one of them just to create the boutique experience. That's powerful for selling a car. The man knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time. So he said that. Let's see, what else is another nugget? Oh, let's talk the service bay. Okay, let me show you what I can show you. Well, owning any car, you're going to have service. You're going to have oil, the occasional whatever.
Yeah.
But when you see something like this, the level of comfort it translates. So if you guys are thinking about, I don't even want it, the square footage out here is thousands of square feet. Way more than Todd would have had to do or anybody would have had to do. But now without even somebody pointing out to me the quality care that my car will get is stated without a word. This is the biggest marketing department this dealership has, is this window and these bays. Yeah, their product is amazing, but when you choose this dealership versus this part of the country versus this part of the country, you come in here and you see a jewel. In some ways it looks like a diamond. In some ways it looks like a giant emerald. It's a piece of sculpture. It's motion, there's people out, there's precision going on. But you don't have to say a word and you make your decision to come here. I'm sorry, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry, buddy. This is
don't need to be sorry.
No, this is fantastic. I think it was the best investment on the square footage. Nice to have big showrooms.
Yeah.
But long term, this is important.
Absolutely.
Short term, one-time decision, you get your car, you get off a lot. But then that long-term relationship, that decision is made right there. So, and great investment in the property. Obviously, it's being used like crazy, so good for you. All right. Isn't that amazing? The service bay sells you on the entire property. It's just endless. It's got huge graphics inside there. You feel like you're at the moment of the nucleus, of the start of something amazing, like the start of owning the car. Like, okay, I want to be a part of this. It's so powerful. I just went on about when I was on the property. I'll go on about now. It kills it. It's amazing. Let's see, what's the next story I should go into that we had? Some of the architectural details. Why does this feel so luxurious? Well, obviously you have the highest of marquees in here. You have an incredible product. But then all the space to display it with all this lighting. And later on, I'll do some B-roll and take some cool shots of just details. My architects and designer friends, you guys are going to eat this up. So the store is incredible, the product's incredible, and then the details like space. You know, you've heard me say less is more if you followed me for very long. Less is more. The way that has less, this place is more. All right, sorry, man. I get on a roll here, dude. So if you look at the Porsche dealership, they have this glass wall that curves around, and you can see it as you're driving down the highway at night. It's all lit up. You see the most beautiful cars. But that just harkens back to the Porsche condominium. I know they probably didn't like say, hey, let's get the buildings to match up, but the Porsche Porsche Tower is perfectly round, all glass, but glass, infinity edge pools, and all this other stuff. Gil, he just did everything possible, cut no corners. And you're sitting there going, yeah, because they got all this money. Let's talk Cato and Natty next week, and then you'll see how important this design thing is to any property, including a freaking warehouse where they take cargo ships off, you know, the cargo boxes off of ships and just stack them. How important is design? They're growing, and I don't see anybody else doing it like they have for over 20 years. Hopefully I get to tour that property. So now let's go back to our Porsche dealership. Service drop-off bay. Coming into an air-conditioned drop-off. This is the service drop-off area. Yes. You have 3 lanes, all enclosed. You can park 6 cars end to end, so there's not going to be a wait. You can pull in and say, I just want my oil change, check the tires, and it can happen all in air conditioning. Unbelievable. You have an air-conditioned drop-off bay, not for one, but I counted 6 times 3, 18 cars can come in, but the things were coming and going. Kirk was with me. He said, look how fast that garage door goes up and down. I mean, it's air-conditioned, so they don't want a big 16-foot by 12-foot opening just blowing out the AC. So the sucker's fast, one of the fastest I've ever seen. Quiet, too. It wasn't like real rumbly. It was a beautiful piece of equipment for that job. For that purpose, it worked. And I think that's a huge key when you go to get your car. You just want to drop it off. It's inside. The pick up your new product, the pick up your new car pickup area is enclosed. Let me show some footage of that. Pulls you in. I like animatronics. I like lighting. I like ribbons on the roof that move. I like that kind of thing. And here it is, subtle, less is more, but very powerful. Even from your point of view, it's very good for telling that story without actually even having a salesman hovering over the client. No one was bothering me. You never bothered me. No, but I was just mesmerized. I was like, yeah, I got some more Porsche fever going. So, oops. Yeah. All right, so love this place.
In the background,
right.
2 managers on the right there. This is the delivery center.
Really?
So when a client purchases their new or pre-owned Porsche, they would car be waiting for them here after they were done signing. And, then you'd actually be able to go over the car with them inside. Sure. And then also what's really helpful is if there is any work on the car that needs to be fixed or like scratches,
anything,
I mean, you can see it really well under this lighting.
Yeah.
So this
frosted ceilings.
Yes, exactly. So.
Go, Todd. Ace was really, really proud of that. I know what he means, where you come in and you can get the tour. There's buttons and switches and technology you're just not going to know. You're not going to grab the keys and go. So you need to go over it. Why would you want to do it outside where it's freezing cold or it's super hot and everybody's sweating like I am right now out by the marina? You want this air-conditioned experience to where it's just non-threatening from the environment. There's no heat, no cold, no rain, no nothing, and you can just focus on the product. You can focus on your client. That's amazing. I would do the same thing if I was DHL, UPS, FedEx. There's some opportunities in this study to do with your business. I don't care what business you're in. This is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to let the tour speak of itself. Let me talk about the real estate now.
Before I jump into it, let me, because we're in the car industry, I thought I'd jump to a quote from Henry Ford. Henry Ford, I like this guy. If I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And he's right. When you're designing, my architects guys, or my property owners, the people at large, the public at large, they just want a faster horse. They don't know they actually want an automobile. Keep that in mind. So now, yeah, before I go, this is the luxury condominium right here. The feature, because I know a lot of you guys haven't seen it yet. I'll put a link to one of the best videos. It's like 2 minutes long. You'll get the concept. What it is you take your Porsche to your actual apartment, your condominium. And the one on the top, every condominium, you can park 2 Porsches inside your apartment. It's amazing. The penthouse, I think it's 4 stories. You can park like 11 cars. I definitely got a tour of that next time in Miami. We'll check that all out. That is how Porsche kills it with design in the real estate. They're making it hand over fist, and they're going to keep doing it. So now, Cato and Natty coming up. That was random. I could not believe that story's coming next episode. A warehouse. I'm still amazed. So here's our residential flip. Okay, I'll put the Google Earth on it also. So this one comes from my boy Sam. And when you buy a property, you got to know where you're going with it. And so I think this one was brilliant. Property, I'm going to use my little graphic here. There's so many strategies in a flip, or when you get a hold of something that's better than you were expecting. And I guarantee you this guy was doing that. Everybody was grabbing a beach house when this guy got this house. And on the overlay, you'll see how close it is to the shoreline, right there next to the Pleasure Pier. It's owned by Tillman. So this became a very, very hot spot. So this is our residential flip story right here. It's basically a repurpose. When you buy a property and all of a sudden you discover that Airbnb showed up, and if you don't know what Airbnb is, I know a lot of my guys don't. You have lots of land, lots of money, but you have guys on your staff keeping up with this. This gentleman, you guys wouldn't even own a house like this, actually. Yeah, sorry, now I'm talking to 2 different worlds. My house flippers, guys, this is a neat story. He started thinking Airbnb. It's 1 block off the water, right next to Pleasure Pier, a Tillman property. And he turns it into 3 apartments to where he's just bam, 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 every weekend, Airbnb, Airbnb. And that may be a viable thing. Instead of flipping the property, repurpose the property. Use technology. If you don't have a property right now under Airbnb, consider it. Try it out. Sucks, then get out, sell the property, flip it. Before you do, maybe Airbnb is the way to go. So that's why I wanted to talk about this one. He bought it. I guarantee he was going to flip it. And then he turned out to be in a right spot, right time. And you can't do Airbnb in the middle of Paris. They've kind of like, no, we don't want you to be right by the Eiffel Tower because, you know, people coming and going out of the building. Okay, I've gone pretty long on this episode. Next episode, I'm so excited. It's about Cato and Natty and how they're killing it. And in that episode, I am talking Star Wars and what they're doing in real estate. It's really a movie, real estate, you're not going to believe it. It's all about that theme of committing to your property, going all in. Whether it's Costco, going all in, projecting that you are, through your architecture, through your design, you're the right place to buy massive products for the best price, right? In Porsche, you got to know speed, you got to know German engineering, precision, beauty, and they accomplish that through their design. Cato and Natty does it. I'm so excited about them. Star Wars, obviously you guys are just going to be blown away by what's happening in that world. And then, special episodes coming up. I do want to talk about 2. There's so much about it, and it's food. Food. I'm going to do that again. Food. Not like you're thinking, not restaurants. I'm talking about fashion designs buying pastry shops. I'm talking about properties putting a cafeteria on a property like Main Street America, Design Tech. Those guys have a cafeteria in there. If you can get somebody to eat something from you, they're indebted to you. A brownie, a cookie, a sandwich. If they'll eat food, they'll do business with you. So there is this whole thing. Buc-ee's. The Buc-ee's phenomenon started out as gasoline, and now when we filmed the episode, Martin and I filmed the episode, everybody on the staff flies in from California, right? And en route back and forth from location, filming different locations and different day shots, they stopped at a Buc-ee's, and then the next day I see Buc-ee's stickers on all these like professional cameras from Hollywood. The Buc-ee movement just hit them. Okay, now I'm totally off base. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If it made you money, let me know. If it opened up your mind just a little bit, tell me. And here's the big question. This is for episode 7 or 8. I need you guys just in the comments, one thing. Here it is. Paintball, ultimate. You tell me, ultimate, paintball. I need to know. Put it in the comments.